I'm going to finish painting some hair on this Reborn that I started on. I'm kind of working on the back here. I need to kind of darken it up here a little bit. I've already put several layers on and baked it, and I'm just trying to add a little depth here. I've got more done in the front than the back, but I just kind of keep adding little hairs. You can see I've done the front so far. If you can see, are very good. And I need to work on this back part. It's kind of, I don't have much room here. So maybe a little bit more here on the top. Kind of darken this and then lighten as I go down. These definitely need to be darker. I'm using a raw umber, and I pretty much use raw umber for most of the hair I paint. You can paint it lighter and it looks like a different color. Then you can, sometimes I'll mix a little black in it to get it really dark, but I don't know, it's pretty good just, you know, the way it is. When I paint, I always kind of have a little flow. I try to kind of come from the places I've already painted, the more little tiny hairs. And this is a 0 liner. It's called a Princeton Select, and I really do like this brush. Seems like every time I go back to buy a brush, I have to get a different one, but this one I bought several of because I really liked it. I like to go, I'm not quite done with her eyebrows. I have one done and one not done. And this eyebrows are a little bit harder because you've got to kind of look at, I don't know if I can do it without her being more space onto me, because try to get them to match up even. I'm gonna put a little bit of a, sometimes I do several layers to get, and I'll darken this as I go to get it just right. I'm making some tiny hairs, and I just kind of get a lot less paint in my brush. I've got too much paint still. Probably gonna wipe some of that off. A little bit too dark. I kind of go down the way the eyebrow flows. Oops. I need a little bit of darker around here. I've just got to blend that hair, constantly blending the hair. I think if I can learn to blend a little more, my hair might look more realistic. I've been kind of trying to do better with that because I kind of like to paint with detail, and I think that sometimes, you know, blending your detail in looks more real on this hair, on painted hair. There, I kind of just watered it down. There she is. So I have a lot of different angles and ways this hair's going. I'm gonna work on this side a little. I kind of need a little more detail up here. I worked several hours painting the hair to get where I'm at. I'm just kind of finishing up. Close to being done. Might have got that a little bit too dark, that line. Here I'm going to continue a little more with my with my Reborn. And I kind of darken the bottom more than I do this middle part, and the top I do darker. So I'm trying to get this a little darker, and sometimes you'll paint and it'll kind of dry lighter, so you have to keep adding. And I try to always have a lot of motion in my brush. And I'm not just, I'm kind of continuing on with the pattern. I'm not just randomly putting brush marks on here. This all has, everyone, I'm doing kind of specifically. Sometimes, if you notice, I'll go off another hair that's already painted, and I'll paint upwards. So it kind of makes sense. You're not just having just hairs that don't belong or that are going a different direction. I've kind of got my pattern. You can kind of make it part a little bit in places by the way you paint it, but you do still kind of go, you kind of follow the same pattern you started with at the beginning. And I'm going to do some more videos and show how I paint hair, how I begin it. This one I already had started. So that kind of looks just, I'm going to try to make this have a little definition in it down here, if you can see. Constantly trying to blend hairs, if you can see. Takes a while to really make a big difference sometimes when you're painting hair before you really see it start to change. You pull her back a little bit. She'll look a lot cuter when she gets some eyes. I'm liking it so far. I have a lot of work still to do back here in the back. Got my swirl. And I always use my finger here to stabilize. As you can see my pinky is my stabilizers. I don't know how anybody can paint without using their pinky. I know some people don't, but I don't know how they do it. It's kind of, if I got my pinky cut off, I'd be in bad shape. My paint's kind of blobby on my brush. Kind of got a blob of paint there, but I'm going to keep going. So I want it dark down here. Raw umber is a little bit harder paint to find, but you can order it. But I like it better for hair because it's just a little darker. And it's a nice brown, blackish brown color. You can lighten it by just watering it down. All these lines are done with it. So I'm doing some little tiny lines here, just kind of going in the same pattern. These don't really have to be exact, but they're just adding depth. I already did it some, but I can kind of tell when I need a little more. I will soon have her done, and I will post her and show you all when she's finished. Pick her out some clothes, but I've still got quite a few little bits of things to do, and I need to finish her other eyebrow. I just need to have a little more room and be able to look at it because I spend a lot of time on the brows. I think they're the most one of the most important things whenever I'm painting a doll, because they really give the expression and I want it to be just right. So, and the front of the hair pattern is important to me too. I think it gives your doll personality. So anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will repost here in a minute when I get her done.